Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to this show. Welcome to this live. If you're just coming on and you don't know who I am, I'm Paris. And I am excited about this live. And yes, I'm coming for next today. So if it seems like I'm a little bit confrontational, I am. But it's for all the right reasons. It's for all the right reasons. So let's go. Let's go. I think today is going to be good. Let's get this out the way. I have a filter on. I hope that doesn't offend you. I think it's cute. I'm super excited. I'm super excited. And you know, the live, they only give me like, I think 35 characters to put something on there. So the full title is actually, why y'all love talking about narcissists? Why? Y'all love talking about narcissists on this here apps, especially TikTok. But why? I don't even think you know why. So let's get this going, because I don't think you really realize that you're slightly obsessed. I don't think you understand why every time you see the word narcissist or narcissism, you are like, what you talking about? Matter of fact, it might have been the only reason that got you into this live. But let's talk about it, because I'm not going to make fun of you. That's not what's happening. I'm not here to make you feel invalidated. That's not what I'm here to do either. But I do want you to understand why that word triggers you. I want you to understand why every time you see something with narcissism, you stop to scroll. I do want you to know why there are like 11 million people on this app talk about narcissism, because y'all are responding. So let me stop and explain who I am. My name is Paris Pleshette, and what I do is I'm a mental health advocate. I'm an inner healing facilitator, and I'm somebody who talks about mindset, purpose discovery, identity work, and dealing with trauma, right? Those are the things that are important to me, and I am 100% about education, right? So I have been doing a podcast, as you may say, since April of 2020. And I've been talking about different mental health issues and topics, and it's been amazing. But the one thing that I'm probably the most concerned about is people having just enough information to be dangerous. And while I'm interested in educating, I do not want you guys just to take a word and sensationalize it. Learn just a little bit about it, and then go around and label other people just to justify and validate your feelings. Hear me out. I am all about your experience is what it is, and I understand why narcissism and narcissist, those words are buzzwords. But I want to empower you and understand how to go to the next level. I think some of you are stuck at educating yourself about what a narcissist is, what narcissism is, what are the traits and qualities, and you don't really go further, right? You're stuck. And I have theories on why that is. So first thing is, if you come in here, please like the live so other people can come in. That way we'll keep this conversation going. People will be attracted to it, and we keep on doing the thing. Also share the live, because I'm sure there's somebody that could use this information. I'm gonna be on here talking whether you share it or not, but I would appreciate if you could. It would be lovely. So let's get into it. Have you ever known a time in history where people use the word narcissist so much? I mean, it's almost like people become low-key obsessed with it. And I hear people trying to embarrass people or make them feel bad about wanting to know about the word narcissism or narcissist, especially if they've dealt with it. Thank you, Amy, for liking the live. I appreciate that. So the reality is, I'm not going to make you feel bad because I understand why. When I first started learning about narcissism, when I first started learning what a narcissist was, it made me feel validated in my experiences. It helped me to understand that I wasn't crazy. Understanding words like gaslighting and understanding some of the traits of a narcissist helped me understand why I felt like I always was losing in the conversation. I always felt like I was misunderstood. I understood why there were all of these triggers that made me feel crazy. I understood it 100%. So this is more of a rhetorical question. I 100% get why people are attracted to these conversations about narcissists and narcissism. However, let's explore more about why you're stuck in a cycle. Why you're stuck in a cycle. Why is it that you get to learn about this, but then you don't move forward? Or even worse, you learn about what a narcissist is. You learn about what narcissism is. And yet you're still attracting them. How is it that you know everything about a narcissist to identify it, and yet you're still in a cycle where you are actively attracting narcissists into your realm? You're repeating it because what you are doing unconsciously is you are identifying these traits and understanding so you can feel better. But you're not actually strengthening yourself. You're not healing enough so that you won't attract it. You're not healing the inner parts of you that invite a narcissist to your realm. And that's what we want to talk about today. I'm going to share with you some personal stuff from my past. So when I first heard of the word narcissist, I felt validated in this one key relationship that I had that made me understand that the breakthrough that I was looking for in this relationship might not happen, not because I wasn't willing, not because I wasn't trying, but because that person had their own work to do. And it absolutely did not land on me completely. And I'm going to use the word land on me completely because obviously there's some more information I have from when I first learned it, right? So at the time, it made me feel great because I'm like, oh my God, I'm not nuts. I knew that this person wasn't right. I knew that they were using my words and mincing them against me. I knew something was going on that wasn't quite right, but I didn't know how to kind of quantify it. I didn't know how to deal with it. And so me learning about it helped me to carefully understand what I was dealing with and gave me a better handle on how to move forward, right? So the understanding was not so I could remove all blame from me, but it was more so I can move forward understanding what I was dealing with. I'll give you an example. If you don't realize that you're in a fight with a snake, but you're trying to like fight a raccoon, you're going to lose if you don't understand how to be in combat with that snake. A snake slithers. A snake can bite you. A snake, depending on what type of snake, can have poisonous venom versus a raccoon that has these different hands and these claws, and they can bite you and you can get rabies. And so there are two different ways you approach those fights. So identification is very important when you know when you're going into battle. That's why it's important, or it was important, for me to really understand my opponent. And I say that because oftentimes the reason we get stuck on narcissists is because this is somebody who we feel like we are always losing with. We are constantly in communication. It's not effective. We're not getting anywhere with it. And so to understand your opponent helps you to better prepare on exactly how you're going to gear up and to go into this next conversation or whatever, interaction. So the point of it is we cannot stop there though. And I think that's where we all get it messed up at. We identify the person or the behavior and we stop. We pat ourselves on the back and we tell ourselves it's okay. You were not imagining things. You were not the one that carried the most of the blame. You are dealing with somebody who is really not self-aware of how they show up. And because you know this new term, you now know how to better put them in this category. My problem is we have we're birthing a generation of people that only know how to categorize people, identify traits, but we don't know how to deal and go to the next level. We don't know how to avoid, and we don't understand that if we have to deal with this person, how to do so without scarring ourselves. Sit with that for a minute. I am so frustrated with everybody telling you the traits of a narcissist. I'm so frustrated with everyone telling you how to identify them, and they're not explaining to you how you can gear up and handle that person when you come into contact with them. And I want to go a little bit further with you too, because what happens when you don't realize there's some traits that you have that are actually attracting the narcissist into your life? Because you do understand there's a certain thing as narcissistic traits. Hey, Miss Scorpion, there's such thing as narcissistic traits. You don't have to be a narcissist to have narcissistic traits. So what happens when you actually have the thing that is drawing in the very people that you are so consumed with understanding? I bet you didn't think that was possible, did you? Oh, you thought just because you were being hurt that it's not possible that you could carry some of those same traits? I know that's not what you wanted to hear. I know that doesn't feel good. I understand that. But it's time to get into the nitty gritty. It's time to actually work with this. So we have to get people off of this narcissistic spectrum, right? Not everyone's ego is toxic. And not everyone who is toxic is diagnosable. I'm going to say that again. Not everyone with ego is toxic. He got a big ego. Such a big ego. That doesn't mean he's a narcissist or bruh. That doesn't mean that. What's good, Chi-Town Kobe? That doesn't mean that. And I know that it was comfortable for you to say that, but it's not accurate. And I can't let you still continue to do this because you are putting yourself in a trap. And you're stuck in this cycle and you don't know why you keep attracting the very thing that you say that you're scared of. I don't want you to be a victim. I'm going to equip you. I'm going to equip you to at least understand where you're at and how to move forward, right? Thank you for the gift, Shatan Kobe. So, I needed to take narcissism outside of that word, right? Like, we have to, what's the word I want to use? We have to take it outside of the buzzword, like, realm, right? So I'm going to give you an actual definition. That way, and I'm going to give you the psychology definition because, like I told, well, you guys might not know, I did go to school for psychology. I just go a little bit more with it because I want to make sure everybody understands it. Narcissism, in the technical definition, is a personality disorder characterized by inflated sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy, and an excessive need of admiration. Okay? I'm going to say it again. It is a personality disorder. That's number one. Everybody that you meet that you think has a narcissistic trait does not have narcissism. Narcissism is an actual personality disorder that should be diagnosed by a professional, and it is characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a lack of empathy, and an excessive need for admiration. And honestly, it goes deeper than you like, oh, well, I know they think they all that, and they don't care nothing about my feelings, and they always want everybody to think they have. Matter of fact, you know what? I know some Leos, and they have to be narcissists. I know they are. Sis, bro, that's not what that means. That's not what it means. And I get it. I know that's what you thought. I know. I'm gonna help you out. So that's the definition. And now I'm going to actually give you some definition of some of the traits, okay? That way we're clear about the definition, right? All right. So some of the narcissistic traits, and this is, again, we want to make sure that we're understanding why people like to, what the real definition is. Number one, a grandiose sense of self-importance, right? That's one of them, right? Number two, a lack of empathy. Okay, they don't care about what's going on with you. They can't care. They don't understand how to. Number three, a sense of entitlement, right? It becomes a point where they believe that they deserve certain things. Number four is exploitative behavior. They exploit you, take advantage of people and their own goals without regards for them. Arrogance, haughtiness, and then the preoccupation with fantasies of power or success or ideal love. Okay? They can have a belief of feeling like they are special or unique, much different from anybody else, and nobody else can understand them. And they have a difficulty maintaining healthy relationships. So those are some qualities that we would say are narcissists, that are considered narcissist qualities. So believe it or not, you might contain one of those traits, one or more of those. That doesn't mean you're a narcissist. But believe it or not, you really might actually have one of those. Or you know somebody that has one of them, and you don't acknowledge that, and you don't get. That's another reason why you kind of invite those people into your realm. Or certain things that like entitlement or a grandiose sense of self-importance, or the fantasies for power and success and love a certain way. What might happen is that you have a personality trait that attracts those things, or you're attracted to people who have those, because that's an extreme version of a lot of good things, right? Like, it's nothing wrong with wanting to be successful or powerful. But a fantasy of having to have power or success that is obsessive. That's the extreme part of it, right? So you might be attracted to power, but you don't realize that because you don't know how to regulate and deal with boundaries, that you have dealt with somebody that's past that meter, right? Okay. So I wanted to just really quickly break down what those traits were. I wanted to explain what the spectrum is. Again, not everyone with ego is toxic, and not everyone that is toxic is diagnosable. We got to stop throwing these words around, because what you do is, if you labeling everybody as a narcissist because you done heard a couple of definitions, then it minimizes when someone really is dealing with a disorder, and it minimizes your situation. It's almost like the wolf, the wolf crying. What I'm trying to say? The boy crying wolf, right? After a while, when they kept coming for him and the wolf wasn't really there, when a wolf was really there, they did not come to make sure that person was okay, because they like, well, you say everybody a narcissist. You say everybody's like that. And they cannot really receive what you're saying because you call everybody a narcissist, right? So I'm going to help you to understand when it's correct to use it and when it's not so correct. Hey, Antoinette girl. Hey, Bruni. Hey, Janelle. I the light is a little bright, so I'm not seeing all of you guys. So I'm just say hi so I can know you're on. Please like this live and go ahead and share it so more people come on. Now, why are we obsessed with narcissists? Do you guys have any idea? Like, you have any thoughts? Because I'm going to tell you, but I just want to know if you have any ideas as to why people are obsessed with it. Anybody? Okay. Here's one of them. I think this is one of the biggest ones. Blaming helps us to avoid accountability. I'm going to say that again. Blaming helps us to avoid accountability. If I can call you a narcissist and you a narcissist, and if I can say my ex was one, and my teacher was one, and my mama was one, and my daddy was one, and my sister was one, if I can say everybody is a narcissist that ever hurt me, then I have no accountability. I can say you did it to me, you did it to me, you did it to me, and I have no accountability there. Especially if I throw the word narcissist around, because now, oh, well, that's such a big word, and they're so big bad wolves that nobody wants to know what I did. No one cares to know what my part of it is. So that's the number one reason why people are obsessed with the term narcissist or narcissism. Think about that. I want you to think about it in your personal life, because the thing about it is, I could talk all day. I remind y'all, I don't need y'all to talk. Like, I love y'all. I could talk to myself. I'm telling you this because I know I see it too often. I scroll a couple of times up in this thing. I see something with the keyword, buzzword, narcissist. And I'm sick of it. Because why do we need to hear so many people? There's even something called like a narcissist coach. And this is no shade to those people. But after a while, what are we getting coached through? It's okay. So now we know what's going on. So, but I want to attack the solution. I want to come up with solutions. I want to figure out what the problem is. So we cannot figure out what the problem, like how the solution should be coming forward until we really deal with the problem. So first of all, number one is blaming help us avoid accountability. Number two, being the victim gives temporary comfort and community. There's something called trauma bonding. You ever heard of that? I don't want to give you another term, but that's really kind of what this is too. When we become the victim, now we can identify with other victims, and now we have a community of people that now our only bond is we've all dealt with narcissists before. And when it starts off, it's like I want to know the other people understand my pain because I felt alone. But what ends up inadvertently happening is that you did not just find a way to become understood. You have now bonded with a community of people that all have felt the similar pain. And unfortunately, what you don't realize is the only thing that you have in common is that pain. And you know what happens when you find a community that you finally bond with? It's hard to heal from the pain because you don't want to lose the community. I'm preaching better than you really listening. And I understand that's not hard to swallow. That's not that's not an easy pill to swallow. You want to get better. But if I lose my community of the people who understood me in my darkest times, if I lose the people who understood me when I went through my worst situation, then what will I have? I'll be back to being alone. And that's not true. But sometimes, unless the people in your community are working on healing, then all you guys will do is stay at that pain point. I'm gonna give you an example. You ever been around a group of people when they like they say, "Oh, I've been cheated on," and that's everybody. "Oh, I've been cheated on too. Oh, I've been cheated on too," and then now they got stories about, "Oh, he did this to me. Oh, she did this to me," and all they talk about is the pain. All they talk about is being a victim. All they talk about is what it felt like and how they hurt. So then what do you do? What do you do? How do you get out of that? Because all you guys doing is bleeding on each other. All you're doing is showing each other the wounds. It becomes like you're vets, Vietnam vets. Like, and this is no shade to any vets, anybody who served. I'm just speaking of experiences where you've heard, like, you've seen people sit in a circle and they tell the same war stories over and over again because that's like where their life stopped. They had a moment of trauma and they did not, like, they have something called arrested development and they stopped at that point of trauma and they've not moved past it. And therefore they are around other people who were the vets as well that had those similar traumas, and they feel like, oh, I can only be around them because they only understand what we've been through. And while it feels assuring for that moment, they are trauma bonding. And then what happens is they stay stuck there because there's no understanding on how to heal and move past it. That's not everyone. That's a unique group of people who have got stuck. I am not banging anybody over the head because you got stuck. It's about, what do you do next? What do you do next? Don't be the person who is staying with your pillars of pain. You're in a community. You're trauma bonded with some people. And you don't want to lose them, so you don't heal because you don't want them to think that you're better than them. You don't want them to think that you moved on. And you want to move on, but you just feel like, well, I might be abandoning them. No. So first, it's about going ahead and acknowledging that about the community. Number 3, it helps us make sense of pain, right? If they were the villain, means I did not deserve it, right? Because that thing that happened to you is so traumatic and so hard that if I say that they're narcissists, if they're always the villain, if I have no part in it, that means that never was supposed to happen to me. So you say, well, Paris, what's the alternative? The alternative is sometimes bad things happen and you can't avoid them. Sometimes things happen and you just have to, you can't control what happens to you. You can only control how you react to it. So it's the age-old thing of us trying to understand why the worst things that happen to us. If I sat here and told you that I'll give you some type of secret so that you never feel pain again, I would be lying to you. And anybody that said that, they're lying to you as well. There's no special pill. There's no perspective, mind shift that will make you never feel pain again. Even when people say, well, just don't care about it. Those are the main ones that tell you don't care, they care. So that's the part where we have to start being honest about why this resonates with us, right? And then the fourth thing is, I already said one of them, trauma bonding, right? Identity confusion, though, that's another thing, right? And ego wounding, they all play a role. Identity confusion is when we get to a place where we don't understand how we show up, and therefore we kind of get stuck. So I'm gonna give you a definition for it, because again, I don't ever want you to take my word for it. Another word for identity confusion is identity crisis. You've heard that before, right? It's just when you're uncertain about who you are, what your values are, what's your place in this world. And it often happens when you're younger. But oftentimes, again, when you're stuck, you can't get past that point, right? And so that plays a role too. When you don't know who you are, you definitely, what's the word I want to use? You attach yourself to these definitions, and you're not able to take accountability. The last part of the ego wounding, and this is what we call a narcissistic injury. I really think this is important for you to understand that. That's when somebody receives a significant blow to their self-worth or their pride or self-esteem, right? It usually comes from harsh criticisms, rejection, the feeling of failure, and anything that really just knocks you down a peg, right? So all of those things play a role in why I think as a whole we're obsessed with narcissism. You see, I put me too, right? I'm just as guilty as you are sometimes. Like I tell people all the time, there's no such thing as healed. It's healing. We are actively healing. If you're wanting to be better in life, you should be actively engaged in your healing processes, right? But you don't think I stop sometime when I see something and read an article about narcissism? Like I do, because I'm always interested in learning something new. Y'all have no idea. It's so deep. There's covert narcissist. There's overt narcissism. It is a lot of different information there. So I'm 100% interested in learning information, but also I'm here to provide solutions. Hey, Larry. So the problem is, it's nothing wrong with learning anything. It's about understanding when you've learned what you needed to learn, and now what you can do to avoid being in these situations where you're dealing with the same situation, different person. Okay, so how do we stop being the victim? I'm glad you asked me. I'm so glad you asked me. And anybody who's trying to join as a host, I'm not taking host right now just because I want to make sure this is clear what we're talking about. Let me take a sip real quick. So, number one, how to stop being a victim. I need you to acknowledge that you are not weak. You're just unhealed. See, people are capitalizing off of the fact that you think that you're weak and you are a marking point for a narcissist. You think that because you got to be careful about what you manifest and what you believe. If you believe that you're a mark and you're always going to be, you're so nice and so weak and so gullible that you're always going to be like a target for a narcissist, then you will. But that's why you have to change your mindset. You are not weak. You're just unhealed. And when you understand when you're unhealed, then we can do some work. We can work on how to get you out of that place, how to make sure that you're not attracting the very thing that you're scared of, the very thing that you're running from, right? Okay? Because I hate when people say, I'm broken. You're not broken. You just have not gotten all the way through your healing process. You haven't even really started it. You've at the very beginning, which is acknowledging what it is. That's good. It's cute, but you stopped. And you stopped. You haven't gotten any through any processing yet. Number 2, boundaries. Y'all should know this. If y'all met me before this video, you would know boundaries is my favorite word. Boundaries. You have to put up boundaries. And I know some of you guys, when you hear boundaries, you think walls. I'm not saying walls. I like to think of boundaries as fences. Think of your house. If you have a house and you have 3 houses right next to each other, what's separating each of the houses is a fence. And all it does is mark off property. And says, hey, this is my space. And then that's your space. And then that's your space. I'm saying that this fence is saying inside of this area, this marked area, is my property. And I control it. And you can't come onto my property without permission. And vice versa, I can't go onto your property without permission. Now, if we're on good terms, I'll allow you to come onto my property with permission, of course, because I don't want to be trespassing illegally, right? And then we can go over into each other's space. But if I ever say, no, you cannot come into my yard or come into my area, that I expect you to respect that. Does that make sense? That's my generic way of explaining boundaries. They are not walls. Don't be scared of boundaries. Boundaries are necessary. And if you know anything about what I do, I speak about healing in emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, and relational. Those are the 5 ways of healing. And that's how you journey. I don't believe that you're journeying into healing unless you touch all 5 of those spots. So when we talk about boundaries, there are boundaries emotional, mental, physically, spiritually, and relational boundaries. And it's important to understand that. Okay? Number 3, I need you to audit what parts of you still need external validation. Ouch. 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 I know I just stepped on somebody's foot and I didn't mean to, but I want you to understand that. The reason why you're stuck here, the reason why you are the victim, the reason why you love to talk about narcissists is because, again, it helps you to validate your experience. And that's important to you because all your validation comes from external sources. I know you were taught that you should get it from your mom and your dad, and you should get it from people that you love, right? And from teachers and from the world. But no, because if somebody can build you up, they can tear you down too. And we are not movable. You're going to unlearn that. You're going to unlearn that you get your sense of validation from external sources. No. And it's okay if that's what you've known. That's all right. I understand. A lot of people have. We were conditioned almost to believe that. We want approval. We love approval. We want to belong. I get it. But we have to unlearn that. Because if people can build you up so easily with flattery, they can tear you down with criticism. So we got to unlearn it. Okay? Number 4, let's keep this moving. I need you to learn the difference between compassion and codependency. They both begin with a C. I need you to learn the difference between compassion and codependency. You can have compassion for a person without being codependent on them. I'm going to say it again. You can have compassion for a person without being codependent on them and without them being codependent on you. That leads to abuse. If you are always trying to understand their point of view, but you don't realize they're dependent on you all times, You don't get that that's codependency, and it's very dangerous, and it leads to abuse almost 100% of the time. And abuse is not always just physical. I told you there's verbal abuse, emotional abuse, mental abuse, all of it. Like, none of it's good. Spiritual abuse, all of it. So let's keep it. Oh, sorry, that scared the crap out of me. I think it was the air. And they closed the door. Ooh, that scared the crap out of me. But codependency is so super dangerous. You can have compassion for someone without being. Do y'all know what codependency is? Codependency, I'm sorry, because I think that a lot of people just be talking, and I'm over the talking, giving you definitions for everything, okay? So that you don't believe Paris is just saying anything. I know what I say it is, but I'm just going to give y'all the psychological definition so you're clear about what it is. Codependency is excessive emotional reliance on a partner, often characterized by caretaking behaviors and a deep-seated sense of responsibility for the other person's problems. Again, compassion is being able to say, I feel for what you're going through. But codependency is that actual deep-seated responsibility for their problems. And that's the difference. That's not your problem. No one put it on your shoulders except for you. Sometimes they could have put it on there, but you carry it. They put it on your shoulders, and instead of you putting it back on them and saying, that's, I feel bad for you. I have some compassion for you, but this is not my problem. That's your problem. And you think that you're wrong for saying that. And it's okay, because we are inherently people pleasers. So I get that. If that's hard for you to acknowledge, that's why we need to talk more about codependency, because I think a lot of people normalize codependency and they characterize it as love, compassion. I'm being a good person because I take on your problems. So yeah, no good, no bueno, no bueno. And the fifth thing is, real healing does not need revenge. It needs release. That's a mic drop. If I had a mic, I would drop it. I'm going to say that again because I don't think y'all heard me. Real healing does not need revenge. Real healing just needs a release. It just needs a release. So you're sitting here, you want to expose the narcissist to the world. I want everybody to know you're a narcissist so they can know to stay away from you and see what you did to me. Baby, that's revenge. And if you're still like looking for revenge, you are not in the right place. You're in a seat of hurt. You're in a seat of bitterness. And you want somebody to pay for it. And I get it. I get it. But that's not what we're doing. I want you to heal. I want you to heal. And healing does not require revenge. Matter of fact, revenge will mess up your healing process. Matter of fact, when you're really healed, you will understand that you don't need revenge. All you want to do is let it go. What was that song? Let it go. Let it go. I think it was on like Frozen, right? That song, Let It Go. Like, you'll understand when you're ready for real healing, because you don't want to hold on to it because it's too heavy. It's too heavy. You don't want to have to wreck your brain about how to get back. You just want to release it so you can go forward with your healing. Because you can't receive your healing if you're holding on to the baggage and the weight of it all. So stop trying to expose. Every other page on this social media is trying to expose somebody. And I'm not here to get secrets. Keep secrets, that's what I meant. I'm not here to keep secrets. I'm not here to encourage things being in the dark. I'm all about exposing things in the dark. But where are you exposing it and what's your purpose to it? Ha! Where are you exposing it and what's your purpose? If you're exposing it just so you can feel better, because they're going to get what they're supposed to get, then you're not ready. You're not ready. And what you don't realize is that once you do that, you still won't be feeling better. You still are not healed. If you're here to just get revenge, You're going to get that revenge and still wonder why you feel still sick in your stomach. You wonder why you still have flashbacks. You wonder why you still can't move forward in a healthy relationship. You wonder why you still can't like go to sleep at night. It's because you were approaching it the wrong way. I hear people say all the time, I match energies, and I hate that. Because while it seems cute, it is toxic. We don't match energies. You have bad energy, so I'm going to come back with bad energy too? So that means you in a gutter and I'm going in the gutter with you? I'm crawling in the gutter with you? No. I'll let you go down there, but you, in order to talk to me, you're going to have to elevate. You're going to come up. You're going to have to come up. I'm not going down there where you are in the gutter. No. We don't match energies over here. No, we don't. No, we don't. I know revenge at first sounds like it's a good thing, but baby, it is exhausting and it's draining and it's fruitless. It is fruitless. It's utterly a waste of time. You don't have time for that. So, I'm going to repeat those 5 things. You're not weak. You're just unhealed. Number 2, you need to put up boundaries, not walls. Number 3, you need to figure out what parts of you still need external validation and unlearn that. Number 4, you have to get real clear about what's compassion and what's codependency. One is good, one is dangerous. And number 5, real healing does not need revenge. It needs release. So, ask yourself, is it possible that I can even possibly be the very narcissist that I complain about? Hey, Tony, how you doing? Is it possible that we're overcompensating for some of the wounds that we've received over the years? I know. Why did I say that? Because not you being a narcissist, not you being somebody who has some of those traits, the very things that you have witnessed. Have you ever heard somebody say the people who have been victims often become victimizers? Have y'all heard that before? Have you heard of that? We have to guard ourselves and our heart against becoming the very thing that we have been victims of. I told you could sometimes have narcissistic traits. And if you don't want to go all the way over to full narcissist, you have to be careful of understanding what's going on. So here's a couple ways if you know that you might be leaning to that side. Again, have you been overcompensating for your wounds? Maybe. Do you always need control in a situation? Do you? And then you kind of tell yourself that, oh, I just want to protect my peace, but you really are controlling every piece of everybody around you? Think about that. Number 3, do you use emotional manipulation and mask it as helping? Oh, I just want to help you out, but really, I'm putting what I really want to happen out there, and I'm going to make you feel guilty if you don't do it. So I'm going to emotionally manipulate you to doing what I think is helping. Hence why we mask it as helping. Listen, I'm not here to tell you how to spot another narcissist. I'm trying to prevent you from becoming one. I know that was hard. But all of us has shown something from a narcissistic trait before. Whether you want to ever acknowledge it or not, the difference is making sure that we don't fully transform into one because of our hurt. Number 4, if you attract it, is it possible that you might reflected in some way? Or are you familiar with it from childhood? Have you been so exposed to it that you mirror it? Have you been around somebody who you now can acknowledge as a narcissist and you don't even realize that you have mirrored and started having those exact same traits? But they're worse because you can identify them, but you don't see yourself as doing the same. It's okay. I know that none of this feels good. I just want you to recognize the red flags. I want you to understand how to diffuse some of the things that you're doing. I want you to help yourself become more accountable and then get the help that you need. It's sometimes very hard to identify our blind spots, which is why I am a proponent of therapy, why I'm a proponent of inner healing, why I believe that you need to have somebody that's truthful and honest to you about how you show up without worrying about you getting revenge on them, right? So, hey, L Genius. So how, and I'm about to be out of here right now. How do we avoid narcissistic relationships? I'm glad you asked me. First of all, number one, recognize the red flags fast. You already know what the traits are. You've been told them over and over and over and over again. You know them already. When you see the traits, get the heck out of Dodge. Don't stick around and see like, I wonder if they really are. Because what you're doing is you're wrapping yourself up in it. And what you don't realize is you're familiar. And you might have something called Stockholm Syndrome, where you're addicted to your abuser. So now you don't even realize that you have normalized being around somebody who has these qualities. And there's something about it that you like. You wouldn't do anything that doesn't feed you. And I know y'all don't want to hear that, but that's real. So, number one, recognize the red flags fast. Number two, stop ignoring intuition for fantasy. Stop telling yourself and talking yourself out of it. You have this small voice inside of you. You have this, what your creator put inside of you to help you discernment, that your intuition, what you want to call your gut feeling, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, you have that inside of you for a reason. Trust it. Trust it. Stop ignoring it and stop making excuses for it, right? And I think you need to start realizing and figuring out, like, do you even really like them? Or is there a part of you trying to earn love? I told you this wasn't going to feel good. Do you even like them? Or is this you like, I'm going to show them I can make them love me? I heard people say that I'm going to make them love me. That is like so backwards. There's something inside of you that doesn't believe that you're worthy of love as is. You don't have to earn love. Someone loves you, they just decide to love you. Love is supposed to be unconditional. Yeah, I'm not ready for that conversation yet. But there's that. So you need to figure that out. Do you really like this person, or are you just trying to earn their love and performing? Stop performing your worthiness and start embodying it. Stop performing your worthiness, but start being worthy. Being somebody that is. And that's not easy. I'm not going to sit here and say like it's that easy. It's just I said it. You have to literally go ahead and do the work to heal the inner scars, the inner wounds. So do you really do feel worthy and that you're not looking for that external validation? So let's wrap this thing up. I hope you guys have understood what I've been saying, and I'm trying to get you to understand. Because it's time out for us being on 17 different social media apps and platforms and pages where they talking about another narcissism or a narcissist. Time out. Y'all know what it means already. You already know what it means. What are the takeaways? What's the call to action? You're not crazy. You're just healing. And sometimes when you're healing, you just want to review the information over and over again. But it's okay. I'm going to help you stop just regurgitating the information you have over and playing it over again. We got it now. Give yourself grace. It's okay to acknowledge what they did. It is nothing wrong with that. I invite you to do it. Please acknowledge what they did. I'm not telling you to pretend like it didn't happen. But just don't live there. Don't live there. Don't make your whole identity. I've heard people say, I survived a narcissist. That's their whole identity. No. No. Don't give them that much power. No. 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 Don't live there. You're not what you've been through. You're much more than that. You're more than a conqueror. You're worthy of love. You're worthy of friendship. You're worthy of investment in self. You're worthy of loving yourself. You don't get to stay stuck as the person that survived the narcissist in their life. No. No. Absolutely not on my watch. No. You are not meant to be a forever fixer. You cannot look at yourself as, well, if they just had me, if I loved them enough, if I was able to fix this for them, they'll be all right. That's not how any of that works. That's not how any of that works. They have to heal themselves. You can't heal them. Ever. Not never. It's not your responsibility. Remember we talked about carrying things, being codependent versus compassion. Yeah, you want to always fix their stuff. You holding up. You feel responsible for the things that went wrong for them. Oh, no. You can feel bad about what happened to them, but not hold it, not own it, not carry it. You're meant to be free. You are meant to be free. Listen, y'all, I'm here to help people walk through the healing journey process too. But y'all, I live my life. I'm not sitting here just sitting and wallowing in things that I've dealt with my patients. No. I live my life. When the session is over, I know how to close that book and put it into and file it away. I have compassion for them, but there's such thing as compassion fatigue. I learned how to put work away. Okay? That happened. Let me release it and move on about my day. You have to do the same. Hey, Devin. Hey, Carolyn. So I hope that you guys have got something from this, right? I definitely want you to own your journey, your own healing journey. You don't have to get stuck here in this cycle where you're only just learning and how to cope with narcissists. No, you're going to meet 100 more narcissists. Get over it. You don't have to be a victim to them. Learn how to heal enough where you can see it, identify it, say, not today, not today, and guard yourself so you don't have to be in that in the web. If you continue to still be the victim to somebody's narcissist, that means you're not healed and you're still in your process. And it's okay to be in your process, but then we have to get to the point if you're stuck, get help to get unstuck. It's not okay to just stay stuck. So, narcissism is real, but so is self-responsibility. The obsession with labeling people often distracts you from actually healing the wound that attract them to you. And that's what I'm tired of. That's what I want to help. Victimhood, it really does feel validating, right? It does feel validating, but it can become a lifestyle if you're not careful. If you're constantly attracting narcissists, it's time to really audit what you've normalized. Healing starts with choosing you. not proving anything to them. Choose you. It's okay to choose you over anybody else. I know they make it seem like it's a horrible thing, but no. Choose you for once. You're worth it. You're worth your own healing. You're worth it. So, you know, if this hits you, don't just sit with it. Do something with it. Like, figure out if you need some help. If you need some help, let me know. You could DM me. I do have inner healing sessions that are available. I have free consultations available. I even have a new mini course that I'm launching on Friday that'll help you get out in front of some of this wound that you've been carrying. This ain't about them anymore. It's about you getting free. If you're ready to stop playing victim, get at your girl. I'm only here to help you because I've been there. And it's time to get out the cycle. Jonathan McReynolds has a wonderful song that's called Cycles. And if you get a chance to listen to it, it's a gospel song, I think, or like a, whatever you want to call it, inspirational song. But it really talks about the cycles we get stuck in. And so, you know, it'll put it in perspective. But if you need any assistance, hit me up. And even if you don't hit me up, go to a therapist or start your own process. You think you can do it yourself, I invite you to. But just don't keep staying here in this cycle. You can do better. And on that note, I'm going to get out of here, guys. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I just pray that somebody's got something out of this that has helped them to not be stuck and stay in that same cycle that they're repeating over and over and over again. Do better. Do better. Not because I'm judging you, because I want you to understand you deserve better. And on that note, have an amazing rest of your day. I'm back to it, guys, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Catch me here on TikTok. I'm going to see if I'm going to do more than once a week. I do want y'all to get used to me. But, yeah, for now, this is what we're doing. I'll talk with you later. Bye, guys. In this hole.